Hey everyone, it's Sabrina Jean. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to this pick a card reading about your immediate future, what or who is coming in for you. So it's not necessarily the same kind of pick a card reading as the ones that I've been creating. How many more days until something? This pick a card reading is referring to people and your relationships in the bigger picture. So I also have some messages here from spirit guides, of course, but also Chiron, because there are some particular transits in astrology that we are all experiencing right now. So it's also my intention to bring some information through to help you heal the relationships in your life that are needing to be healed right now. So let's just find out what or who is coming in for you. So choose according to the ace. You can choose the sword, the pentacle, the wand, or the cup, or you can choose the crystal, white, calcite, yellow, pink, and blue. So let's get started. Pile number 1. Hello to all who chose pile 1, the white calcite. Okay, so who is coming in for your immediate future? What do you need to know? And of course, if you chose the Ace of Swords, this is referring to your mind, what you're thinking about, information, conversations, and communication. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and I'm actually going to have closing final messages after the piles to tell you a little bit more about these astrological alignments they're working in our favor, and it really just depends on what you choose to participate in and what truth needs to come out to shine a light on your relationships. All right, so I'm just going to put this card here for now. What more do you need to know? Group number 1. Okay, let's use the Tarot Illuminati. The Sun card, the Tower, the Fool, the Outsider, and the Loving Woman. I think I need more room. Hold on a second. Okay, I paused the video so that I could get more room. I just been reminded that I need to add the word deep messages to the title of this video. So what is it that you need to know? What's happening right now in your life, the people that are coming into your life. So part of this reading is bringing through messages from Chiron, which is known as the wounded healer in astrology. And so every one of us was born with certain wounds that we experienced when we were younger. And so this is like the basis of each pile. So it's very likely that what's unfolding for you in your relationships right now, group number 1, sometime in your past, probably in your childhood or your siblings, whether this was family or your society, where you may have most likely been wounded, like your ego was wounded by others, was through other people maybe trying to just, what's the word I'm looking for? They prevented you from expressing yourself freely. Maybe when you were growing up, you were made to feel less adequate or less intelligent. again, by more particularly females that were around you. So this could have been friends, or it could have been sisters or mothers or grandmothers. But it was people in general that it's almost as if they made you feel like you were the outsider. And so you were wounded intellectually from these experiences. And whether or not you remember these, I'm thinking that spirit guides are saying it's time that these memories are going to be resurfacing for you, and you might start dreaming about your siblings or your childhood or something that made you feel defeated, or maybe you weren't able to defend yourself or defend your beliefs or even your own intelligence. So Chiron is really strong right now in all of our astrologies. Why is this? Because Mercury, which is the thinking planet, the communicator, it's like slowly inching up closer to Chiron in the sky. So what's happening, it's for group number one, it's you're probably going to start remembering things that made you feel defeated in the past. And what's happening right now and in your immediate future is that everything is shining a light on your past so that you can rise above it, so that you can choose to heal it, and knowing that there are some things that we will just never be able to resolve, especially with other people, especially if you have experienced that your family or your siblings just don't think the way that you do. There really is no way to make peace with the other individuals that may have caused you to feel defeated in whatever way. They may have prevented you from being free, or maybe your early life relationships made you feel stuck or limited, especially when it came to expression and how you communicate your intellect with other people. But what's happening right now is that the universe, your higher self, your soul, is helping you to liberate yourself, to free yourself, to rise above all of these petty things that happened when you were a child, so that you can free yourself to express yourself more intellectually or in the way that you prefer. It keeps coming back down to information and how you communicate. So it's also possible in the past that the way that you were communicating, other people didn't understand. And so maybe they made fun of you, or they laughed at you, and they made you just feel like an outsider. Again, there are so many different ways that these stories, played themselves out. But the following information, I hope, will enlighten you and start you on this healing process to remembering your truth. You have always, you were born with purity of thought. This is why the white calcite chose your pile. White is purity, it's spiritual. It's probably possible that many of you, from birth or from the timing in life where you actually started consciously thinking about things or sharing your knowledge or information, it's very possible you've always been divinely guided. But it's possible that your family or your friends or your community weren't. Perhaps they were unable to understand what you were wanting to say or how you were wishing to express yourself. And so the Tower card in your reading, and this isn't even your immediate future, this is the basis of what's trying to come to light into your awareness so that you can heal it or release it or send love to it or rise above it. And your spirit guides are saying, because in your immediate future, you're going to be put in a position where you should be expressing yourself or expressing your truth, being authentic. But many of you perhaps have been going through a purification process, right? Trying to ascertain, why is it that you know all of these things and you know everybody else's truth, but nobody else maybe everybody else just didn't want to listen. And so you were speaking upon, deaf ears and closed eyes to people or individuals that simply just did not want to know. And in a sense, this can be a really heavy burden to carry, especially if you know that, like now I'm thinking you are the bringer of truth. Maybe you've always wanted to reveal the truth to other people. And it's probably because you just really want to enlighten other people, or you want to help other people, or maybe you want to liberate other people from their own prisons of their mind or something else. And Chiron is saying, well, it's not necessarily your life's purpose to free everyone, because everyone has free choice. But you now are being liberated, and you're in a much better place in your life where you can feel comfortable expressing yourself freely. You were born to be a creative person. You are meant to be sharing your words or your thoughts, or you're meant to be writers. You might be storytellers, or maybe, since Chiron is the wounded healer, your wounds that you received during early childhood, or feeling inhibited or restricted in, like, you're being able to speak, or all of these things that you are overcoming in this lifetime, so that you can re-empower yourself, start expressing your own truth right on your particular platform. And this truth is what's going to attract your tribe to you, because when you start speaking authentically, those who resonate with you are naturally going to be drawn to you, or the words that you share from the higher perspective, from a loving perspective, from the bigger picture. So remember, at the end of this video in its entirety, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the current transits astrologically that might be triggering memories. So you might be having dreams, or maybe all of a sudden your mind is overanalyzing something that happened to you as a child, and it's probably because of this Mercury and Chiron transit, which is going to get stronger over the next week. And so the date, for the record, I'm recording this is May 2nd. 2025, of course. So you might be experiencing relationships with other people are changing in general, but I feel what's even more intentional is that you are changing, because you're letting go of, well, the people or relationships, connections, or even jobs, projects, communities that just simply don't allow you to be your true self or just speak your truth. And this is all meant to be happening right now at this time in your life. So there's no need for you to feel guilty about removing yourself from any other kind of relationships or groups. Because what's happening is that your spirit guides are preparing you to, well, stand alone from your perspective, and to share or write or create whatever it is that you feel like you are ready to. And so this could also be a very healing process, especially if you have a blog or a journal or, a podcast, anything that you want to, from a safe space, be able to express your truth and your authentic self. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm trying not to make these piles extremely long, but what more do you need to know? Like what or who is coming into your immediate future? Everything is showing up as a synchronicity to help you at this time to navigate whatever it is that you're sorting through. Maybe some of you, it's time for you to remember your truth or remember your power. or to share even your messages. I think I want this one. Well, we have room. Do we have room for another card? You know me. One more card. One more card. Okay. There's got to be something. Here, this one. Okay. Of course, the Page of Swords. So Page is like the student. There's new information. So honestly, there's a higher level of intelligence that you can tap into and communicate with. This could be your higher self. It could be angels, spirit guides, or even Chiron for that matter. It could be something galactic. Okay, so the sun in your life, in your personal transits right now, is shining a light on communications. Positive communication. Okay, Jupiter. Jupiter is saying that this communication, well, maybe it is Jupiter. This is something that you might choose to focus on. Now you've got the sun again. So Jupiter is bringing you opportunities to learn, to grow, to expand your mind, your consciousness. Okay. However, as far as your immediate future, these aren't people or situations, what's coming in to help you in your immediate future. It's not something or someone that you're going to see physically with your eyes. So this is higher consciousness, your ability to channel, because remember, you are creative. You're a creative source of inspiration. And so when you tune into either the moon or your deeper feelings of love, compassion, empathy for yourself, speak from a try to communicate from the comfort of your own home, your own space. Again, you're creative. You're supposed to be mentally creative in this lifetime. Remember, Chiron, the wounded healer, you were damaged somehow by family, friends, or society when you were a child. That blocked you. It stopped you from being able to do this creative, intellectual work that you were desiring to do. And I'm hoping I just brought a confirmation that this is part of your life's purpose, your soul's purpose, to share creatively your thoughts in whatever way you feel like you want to create and share and communicate. So over the next week or so, try and pay attention to your dreams or what you're sensing, things that you're even remembering from your past, especially if you're thinking, why are these memories coming up? Because now it's time for you to realize that you have the power to rise above the situation, to heal yourself, your mind, your intellect. And also, your spirit guides are working with you to put you in a place of empowerment that you should feel inspired to start writing or creating or expressing yourself more authentically at this time in your life. And all of the transits are coming together to help you in this process. Wow, now the light's flickering. So group 1, these are the messages for you in your immediate future. So the week ahead, the sun is shining brightly, happiness. I feel like it's time for you to start telling your story, or at least writing it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed these messages. If you did, please do click the like button. If any of you are interested in a private reading or consultation, or if you want to know more about your Chiron or galactic soul's purpose, feel free to reach out and request a private reading from me. Basically, whenever you're ready to know more information that you don't already know, feel free to reach out and request a reading from me. My links are down below. Meanwhile, have a wonderful day, and I'm going to get away from this flickering light, and I will see you in another video. Bye for now. Hey there, group number 2. So what or who is in your immediate future? What's coming in for you? So these are deep messages. I guess I should call it multi-leveled, multi-layered. But if you were drawn to the Ace of Pentacles card or the yellow calcite, let me explain to you in the best way that I can what is important for you, like over the next week ahead, over the next 7 days. And at the end of this video in its entirety, I have some information that I want to share for all of you who are interested in like current astrology transits that are affecting all of us. This involves Chiron, the wounded healer, and I'm assuming that if you're watching my videos, you probably are already aware of what or who Chiron is. But first, so what is your story? So Chiron in general is known as the wounded healer, and as it goes in our childhood, we experience some sort of wounding, or maybe from our past lives, that we're meant to overcome so that we can help other people. So at some point in your past or your childhood, if you're drawn to the pentacles, you experience some sort of wounding or hardships or sadness. It's a conflict in your values, what you value. Your sense of self-worth perhaps could be another. You may have felt challenged, or maybe while you were growing up, and again, this is something that we can carry over from a past life. Just something that broke your self-esteem, or people that made you feel like you weren't worthy, that sort of thing. So let's look at your story. Wow, endings and beginnings. The Lovers. Oh. Okay, group 2, how many of you continue experiencing relationships, it could be any kind of relationships, with people who disempower you? Do people want to exert their power over you or make you feel like you are not powerful? Or they want to exert their will to make you feel powerless, or at least less worthy than they are? Wow, I just got total body chills. So not only have your values and your sense of self-esteem been wounded, but also your heart, your capacity to love. And you know that you are capable of loving other people wholeheartedly. And honestly, this might be, it's not part of the problem, but as far as relationships are concerned, especially if this is romantic relationships or even family patterns, if you know how to love unconditionally, and this is how you have approached relationships or connections to other people throughout your entire life so far, it's important for you to know that not everyone knows how to love. Not everyone has the same definition of what love is. In fact, more recently, after I moved to where I am now, I met an individual who I know is part of my past life, and for some reason we were meant to find each other in this lifetime. And at first I was not, attracted, because I'm not looking for that kind of relationship at the moment. But the more, we kept running into each other, and I got more curious, and I started wondering, okay, so there's something deeper here. And that's the story of my life. I always sense there's something deeper. And me as a person, I want to love that deeper part of that person who isn't able to open up to the kind of level of love that I am. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I think I'm opening up, and I'm sharing my truth about my experiences, because I've always been heartbroken in my romantic relationships, because I can sense like a deeper brokenness in other people, and I want to love that physically, romantically, even intimately. And a lot of the times, I experienced the opposite in that interaction or that relationship. And that's what I'm picking up for group 2. And it doesn't mean that that's how your whole life and relationships have been. But my point here is that this person that I met in the last couple of years, it's funny because I distanced myself, but he kept contacting me. But I realized that the only reason why he was contacting me is because he was just interested in one certain thing. And so I finally had to stop and start saying to him, because he's anti-marriage, right? Well, he's got a lot of broken marriages. But I started saying, well, I'm waiting for love. So if you want to get married, then okay, yeah, let's get together. And then I wouldn't hear from him for a while. And then I just started, whenever I saw him, I started saying, I love you, and it would make him cringe. So maybe you've experienced the similar things in your life. And maybe you have that same capacity to feel the undercurrent of what's broken in the world, not just people. And you want to love that. You want to help that. You want to heal that. But the more that you try to do that, the more you seem to suffer emotionally, or your self-esteem. You know what you're capable of. You know what you're worthy of. But honestly, you're meant to be empowering yourself and believing in yourself and naturally loving yourself unconditionally. And there's a time in our lives where we have to stop trying to love everyone else in the way that we need to be loved back, especially if you've been realizing that nobody knows how to love you the way that you know how to love. And so harsh lessons can be learned. And I'm thinking with the thunderbolt here, you probably have Uranus in your natal chart, 7th house, meaning when you mingle with other people, or, the walks of life, not just romantic, but people in general, it's almost as if you have sudden unexpected tower moments or realizations of who the people are not, or what they're not capable of. And so you have a beautiful way of seeing the truth in other people, but a lot of the times other people aren't even aware of their own truth themselves. You know what I mean? So you see the undercurrents, you see the invisible, or maybe you feel it, right? And so this might also make you feel wounded because maybe others don't accept your unconditional love or your big heart or that sort of thing. All right, pardon me, I paused the video because the camera light started flickering again. It did that in pile number 1. So in the bigger picture, Chiron, so over the next 7 days, what's happening right now is that Mercury, the planet that rules our mind and our brain and what we're thinking about, it's coming close. It's making a conjunction with Chiron, which is the wounded healer. But they're both in Aries, so something is helping all of us to break ourselves free from the wounding from the past so that we can empower ourselves. In whatever way that, we all need to empower ourselves so that we can move forward. I think everyone's relationship dynamics are changing on the planet right now. And this was, these are based on other transits, but once you start believing in your own worth, and you know what you're capable of, you also know what you're worthy of. But honestly, there's a deeper message coming in here for group number 2, is that once you start realizing the love that you are and what you know you're worthy of, and you know that you desire a relationship with people who honor and love you back in the same way. And honestly, the only way that any of us can attract that kind of reciprocity as far as love is concerned is to attract it. So when we become the magnet of the loving person who we are, we will naturally attract the right kind of love into our lives. And I'm including myself too. And it will also put you in a place of confidence where you know that you're no longer going to surrender yourself or your happiness in a relationship that just doesn't even appreciate what you have to offer. So, as far as immediate future, who's coming in, what more do we need to know? So what's happening for you, this is an event. So right now, these messages they're helping you to become aware of an event or a cycle in your life where, it's time for you to choose you. Stop allowing yourself to believe or determine your worthiness based on what other people say or do or not. This is definitely like the empowerment, the self-empowerment. It's time to remember your strength and your power and just focus on you. Commit to yourself. Endings and beginnings might be, again, these could be like bigger cycles that are happening in your life, meant to be shining the light on helping you realize the truth that, this is why I've been attracted to these people, and now it's time to heal myself and fix myself and to tune into something better and just start living my life on my own terms. And, whenever there is someone who is worthy enough, and I'm speaking for you, by the way, group number 2, whenever someone worthy enough comes along unexpectedly, they're going to have to prove their worth. And the only way that they're going to prove their worthiness to be in a loving relationship with you is by how they treat you. They're going to have to step up to the plate. No more broken relationships. I don't even know how to call that. Like no more lessons in your relationships with other people. So now is the time for you to re-empower yourself and commit to yourself, your plan, your goal, to move forward with that. And, if there's someone who is worthy of your awesomeness, let them come into your life, but then they're going to have to prove their worthiness before you give yourself away, you know what I mean? Or you give your body away, or you give your heart away. So only the ones that are worthy of having you will, hopefully these will be the ones that, sorry. Let me just stop thinking and let me pull the cards really quick. Only the most worthy individuals. Oh, you know why? Okay. So here on out and moving forward. Okay, I ran out of space, didn't I? Let me fix the camera really quickly. Group 2, remember these are messages to help you heal, Chiron, the wounded healer, to heal your childhood wounds. But from this moment forward in time, you're no longer looking for someone to love you, because it's you that needs to love you. You're the only person who knows how to love yourself fully, unconditionally, because you are a very unique individual. So it's time to stop surrendering your worthiness to those who don't appreciate you. And once you align with the love that you truly are, then only those who resonate with that, who are worthy of receiving your love, will be the ones who approach you. Because honestly, I think when you start empowering yourself and loving yourself in the way that you deserve, those who are unworthy, I think that they will feel intimidated by you. They won't even approach you. Does that make sense? Okay, right. So you're freeing yourself with new inspiration, taking charge of your life. There's 2 of Wands. So your immediate future, wow, there's a lot of energy. Interesting. I saw something just said, you're coming online. So maybe some of you are remembering your Akashic records or your past life. So this is meant to be happening. Again, Mercury and Chiron are making a conjunction over the next 7 days. But these energies are helping to raise your perspective so that you can liberate yourself from the kind of relationships that really don't support you and who you are. You don't really need unsupportive people in your life anymore. So if you can, find the time to try to connect with and tap into your Akashic records or your memories from your parallel lives or other dimensions or Akashic records, your past lives, whatever, however you want to describe this energy. And I feel like there's also more information and messages here for those of you on a twin flame journey. You're realizing the truth of what twin flames are, or at least what you thought that they were, and you're meant to be empowering yourself and releasing yourself from these old judgments, beliefs. In a sense, for some of you, this truth, and again, this is fire energy, so this is probably something with your Mars transit, so you might want to check your astrology transits right now, your personal ones. But everything in the energy is inspiring you to separate yourself, to liberate yourself from needing to be drawn into any kind of deeper relationship with other people right now, because the separation is happening to help you to rise above and gain a new title is, I think, what the word is. Some of you have been stuck in a cycle thinking that you need a twin flame because you're feeling like you're missing something. But what you've been missing is your own truth, your own heart. It's important for you to love yourself unconditionally. You can't expect somebody else to know how to love you. So this twin flame journey for some of you, what's happening here is that you have placed an expectation on somebody else, giving you permission to feel like you are worthy, where this was just part of one of your lessons. You've always been worthy, but maybe you didn't believe in yourself, or you didn't feel like you were worthy, or you felt like you needed somebody who maybe had more knowledge or power to make you feel like you were worthy or feel like you were included, but you've always had this power all along. So what's happening in this week is that Venus is also in Aries right now. Mercury is in Aries. And they're trying to help you get your groove back, your confidence, your self-esteem, your self-worth. It's very possible over the next 7 days, there might be someone from your past that maybe wants to come back and reconnect with you, but you might find yourself in a completely new space saying, no, I deserve more than what you've got to offer. I'm not going to accept your broken heart anymore. Don't allow people to sabotage you anymore or break your spirit anymore. And this will be like a test of your strength or how much you value yourself. So for some of you who do not enjoy being alone, this might show up as like a really great challenge for you, especially if someone, right? There's like, look at this, 1, 2, 3. It starts with a source of energy. This is information, right? Inspiration coming from your higher self. So there isn't any indicator here that people are coming into your life, but I think this might be memories from your past, your emotions, something connected to, well, what you're meant to be healing in this lifetime. So this is also your Chiron placement. Chiron, the wounded healer, is trying to liberate you and set you free and empower you all at the same time. And it really just depends on how you work with this energy. And, are you ready to step into your power? Are you ready to start supporting yourself? Are you ready to believe in yourself? Are you comfortable being independent from a twin flame connection? or this need to have someone else in your life to support you. This also has something to do with your birthday numbers too. So if you were born anywhere from the 20th through the 29th, you probably, in this life, you are learning how to cooperate with other people. But I found people born in the days that are the 20th or through the 29th, you're just naturally actively seeking support from other people. So it's not necessarily something that you're aware of, it's just something that you're naturally drawn to, and this is also part of your life's purpose and your soul's purpose too. Anyway, so those of you who are working on healing or working on your Chiron placements or your self-esteem, like over the next week, the more you take time to meditate or, tune into, do a past life regression, if you are able to afford those kind of things, or take the time to, allow your soul to remind you something that you need to remember about your past or your relationships and why you are here now, and the meaning of your relationships and the connections that you've been experiencing in your life so far. So, did you guys watch I recorded a quick video as soon as we had the new moon Taurus, and for the month of May. And you might want to go check out that video, but from my perspective, I was saying, okay, the moon and the earth is about to open up a time capsule in May to release truths. Some of them are global, some of them are universal, but some of these truths are more personal, so it really just depends on how much do you really want to know. What are you ready to become aware of about yourself, your tendencies, your habits, your patterns? Because all of the astrological components that are helping all of us right now in an evolutionary process are helping to liberate us from the need to have to rely on certain support systems that are no longer supporting us, if that makes sense. Okay. At the end of this video, I'm going to share some really quick information about those astrological transits right now. So if you're interested in that astrology portion, do feel free to scroll to the end to listen to those. Meanwhile, these are the messages that I have for you in your immediate future. Lots of thinking, lots of space, lots of opportunity for you to be with yourself and to remember, and to determine what you're no longer tolerant of as far as relationships with other people are concerned. So I hope you enjoyed these deep messages. Group number 2, if you did, please do click the like button. You're always welcome to comment as well. If you're interested in a more of a in-depth relationship reading, or there's just something else that you'd like to know about your personal life, your purpose, your relationship status, or beyond, if you'd like a private reading, do feel free to reach out to me. And I'd be more than happy to connect with you and share more deeper insights with you, based on your questions, of course. So my links are down below. Have a wonderful day. Wow, I almost knocked the camera over. Have a wonderful day. Group number 2. I'll see you in another video. Bye for now. Hello, group number 3. If you were drawn to this Ace of Wands or the pink calcite crystal, so who is in your immediate future? What more do you need to know? These are deep messages. I'm also incorporating Chiron, the wounded healer, which is a planetary alignment or in your birth chart. These messages are also about your relationships, patterns, and more. So let's just dive in, see what you need to know. At the end of this video, I'm going to talk really quickly about, this was actually the basis why I wanted to create this pick a card reading today. So relationships are changing. So if you chose this Ace of Wands, group number 3, let me put this right here. What more do we need to know? So for those of you who don't know, Chiron, the wounded healer, represents something that wounded us either emotionally, physically, spiritually, or intellectually when we were children. And so it's shining a light. So Mercury is getting close to Chiron in the sky. And so some are having dreams, or they're remembering traumas from the past, things that happened in the past. Because in a sense, right now, over the next 7 days, there is the potential for spontaneous, rapid transformation or transmutation, healing, releasing, that sort of thing. Really just depends on how you wish to work with the energy. So you've got the Moon, the World, the Chariot. So these initial cards are showing me how you may have been wounded in your childhood. And either this is something that happens, well, it's usually something that happens within our family or our siblings, our immediate environment while we are growing up, how we were inhibited in some way, shape, or form. In this case, if you were drawn to the Ace of Wands, you probably have a lot of excess energy, and you probably like to be on the go, and maybe you have strong Aries in your natal chart too. But as Chiron and the wounded healer, when you were young, you probably experienced limitations as far as being able to do what you want to do, right? If you'd much rather be doing something else, but people kept bringing you back and saying, no, you have to do this. You wanted to be free to explore. Maybe you wanted to daydream, right? Maybe you had deeper emotions or inspiration. This could also be like Mars in Scorpio or Mars in Aries energy. There's like a lot of physical activity within you that keeps you on the go. And maybe you've always known what you wanted to pursue. But as Chiron, the wounded healer, shows up, and it's going to be in a particular house in your natal chart, and that's what reveals more specific information about how you were wounded or blocked or broken as a child. Something was preventing you from being free. And so that's there's freedom here, freedom and movement and doing your own thing. I feel like your heart, there's something that's always been inspiring you, and your heart wants to pursue those things, but as a child, you weren't allowed to do that. And so you had to just focus on or do what, the adults told you that you had to do, or your siblings, or something like that. Right, everyone tried to get you to slow down and stop. Maybe everyone has always tried to control you, and you just really don't like that. Letting go. I feel, how many of you are always feeling like you're trying to free yourself from everybody else, or limitations, or restrictions, or from rules, or governing not only family rules or beliefs, but yeah, this goes a lot deeper than what the cards are revealing here. And so now it's reminding me recently, what's the constellation that got my attention that I spoke about the other day? It was Andromeda. I had no idea that Andromeda is there are a lot of other people that are suddenly hearing messages about Andromeda as well. And this is just something that showed up in my life, Andromeda, within the last week, trying to get my awareness, bringing my attention to the fact, part of my spiritual purpose, and part of the reason why, well, maybe I was even wounded as a child, because I totally resonate with these. It's I don't like feeling stuck. I don't like tight-fitting clothing. I don't like being contained or withheld or, held down or held back. In fact, my life and my careers and even my relationship patterns have all I have pursued all of these things too. And then when there's nothing more for me to learn from, or I feel stuck or limited or inhibited in career or relationship, I have always freed myself. And so now I'm wondering if you chose pile 3, if you're the same way. Andromeda in general, the Andromedans love to empower people. They are freedom seekers, lovers. They want to exert their free will and their energy to pursue or do whatever they wish to do. They have a higher level of intellect and wisdom. And if you're drawn to pile 3, you probably have Andromeda in part of your natal chart in this lifetime, which you have the capacity to connect with or tap into to understand your life path, your purpose, or your direction, or something more about freedom, or what freedom means to you. And I know that if you're a 3B that usually chooses pile 3, you tend to, you and I, we have the same kind of energies a lot of the time, the creative. So freedom and liberation is probably a huge for you. So again, these are deep messages in this pick a card reading, but as soon as I became aware of Mercury and Chiron and all of the planets in Aries right now, so for those, there are many people who are feeling inspired to liberate themselves with this Aries energy. So right now, Venus is back in Aries, and of course, Mercury and Chiron, and, now Neptune, right? So yeah, people probably limited you, or they didn't want you to be free. Maybe they were jealous of how free you were in your childhood, and so you weren't able to just like pursue your life in the way that you wanted to. You weren't able to take action or move in the direction or go where you wanted to, and so somehow that inhibited you, and that is part of your Chiron wounded healer purpose, to overcome these challenges, to understand them, and find a way to express your powerful energy and your inspiration that can help other people free themselves too, or to help other people become more liberated. You can still liberate yourself. You can still separate yourself from others. You can still choose to believe whatever it is that you wish to believe that is totally different from everyone else. But this isn't something that you should expect that everyone else is going to want to join you in. This is something that you need to do on your own. And this is part of your spiritual purpose, by the way. So maybe your physical vitality was like inhibited. You were stopped, or you were blocked from taking action. And so I'm thinking, as soon as you became an adult, you were like, you were out the door, man. You were on your way, out there exploring, navigating, doing your own thing. And that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Living life your way, on your terms, making your choices. So immediate future, group number 3, what more do we need to know? One more shuffle. Kind of. Okay, group 3. Oh, wait. There's these two. There's this one. Let's pull these first. Of course you are the Emperor. Living your life your own way. Wow. Okay, so this pick a card reading is also meant to bring you information that can help you heal and release yourself from everything that's been stopping you from living your purpose, technically. In a sense, you know what I'm picking up here, group 3? It's like part of your life's purpose, and maybe your journey all throughout your life and your experiences, is that, so even if you felt inhibited or blocked, you weren't able to pursue what you wanted to pursue earlier in life. You were forced to conform to society's rules. right? So let's just say this. Maybe you just wanted to be a dreamer and travel or live in a fairy tale story when you were a child. But then, of course, when you became an adult and parents or authority said, well, stop daydreaming. You have to go out and get a job to make money so that you can support yourself. Instead, and so naturally, because you wanted your liberation, you chose to do the job thing, right? And you earned the money and you did the things, but still somehow you probably didn't feel completely fulfilled. Maybe you earned a lot of money and you were able to purchase all of the wonderful things, only to realize that it's the things and the stuff that doesn't really hold value. It's not really the things that make you happy or feel fulfilled. And so your soul was still longing for something more, something deeper, more of an adventure. You need to be free. So memories from your past, or actually your experiences in the past, and having to work, let's just use that as an example, for other people means that you've been having to make choices based on, well, what society dictated. You had to work for someone else and make money for them. You weren't able to do it on your own. This is a new thing, honestly. And so I think younger generations, I think, are just, they assume, they take everything that's available right now for granted, I think, because, well, how could they know different? You weren't alive a couple of decades ago. You know what I mean? So this actually has something to do with Pluto. The Pluto in Capricorn, like, it was releasing many of us from those false fear-based beliefs. Like we had to rely on corporate job to be able to earn our way, but this is something that society forced upon us for over 100 years. I'm going to pull another card. So I feel like part of Chiron is trying to help you to heal or realize your past so that it can liberate you to really just start, maybe create your own career, start your own business, do your own thing. You can free yourself and make the money that you need. Maybe some of you have realized, I don't need to make $200,000 a year to be happy. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. You want to enjoy your life. You want more fulfillment. You want more experiences. You want something deeper, right? So the Ten of Pentacles is, this is your immediate future. So this is how I would see Mercury with Chiron, helping you to remember the past and where you sacrificed your freedom because you had to survive. And now you no longer have to sacrifice yourself to that. So for a lot of people who are suddenly out of jobs, or you were laid off, or maybe you're really wanting to get out of that corporate career, but you don't know what to do to be able to make the same amount of money, you might be forced to downsize your lifestyle so that you can enjoy your life more freely while also earning less income than what you've been earning, if that makes sense. It is possible. Some people are becoming minimalists. Some people are selling off all of their stuff and they're freeing themselves and liberating themselves so that they can live more freely based on what they are earning. So group 3, this is like a cycle breaker. It's a generation breaker, especially for those of you who have a lot of Aries energy and you really want to do your own thing. Everything this week is going to help you remember your truth. It's also helping you to form your own business or your own practice. Say, for example, a YouTube channel, something that you can share, something that you can earn an income from, but it doesn't require you to work 10, 12 hours a day, and you still have time to be free, to explore or to travel or do the other things that maybe you wish to be doing. But remember here, I think what's key is like this Five of Pentacles is like many of you who are wishing to liberate yourselves, but you're waiting to hit the lottery so that you have all of this money to do whatever, may not necessarily be the truth of the reality. And this is what new realizations or awarenesses might be showing up for group number 3 right now. So let go of the past, let go of what you think that you need to earn, and start tuning into the power of what you have right now, the source of inspiration, and work with that. In fact, the more that you try to analyze or think or make logic of all of this is more of like it's an inspiration. You're being inspired by your higher self or your spirit guides or the angels to empower yourself, but to free yourself from the logical mindset of, I need to have this much money to be happy and free, when for many of you, you may be realizing that the reduction of these things is what's going to free you to be more happy. And keep in mind, these are general pick-a-card readings. But liberating yourself from what you think that you need is also going to bring you like the greatest sense of liberation and freedom that you could have ever imagined. Free to create, free to inspire, free to explore, free to love. That's what's in your future, if you're not already there. But there's still the process of letting go of the past. And so again, I want to come back to Chiron, the wounded healer. As a child, if you were blocked, you weren't able to be free to do what you wanted to do. And so these are the energies with this transit. Again, Chiron, Mercury, Venus in Aries, helping you remember or understand or look back on the past to make you see, or make some of you see, I don't have to do this way. I can do my own thing and earn it in the way that I wish to be earning it. And once you choose this path and you have discovered the path or the way to live this kind of freedom lifestyle, your Chiron placement in your natal birth chart will put you in the perfect position to show the way for other people to find the same kind of freedom and independence that they too are seeking. So it's part of your soul's purpose, your spiritual purpose. Anyway, group 3. I did warn you these were deep. I hope you enjoyed these messages. If you did, please do click the like button. You're always welcome to comment as well. Remember, I have an end closing message about the current transits if you want to know more specifically what I was picking up on. That being said, have a wonderful day, and thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. If anyone's interested in more specific in-depth reading, astrology, purpose, healing, etc., feel free to reach out to me. My links are down below. All right, bye for now. Hey there, group number 4. If you were drawn to the blue calcite crystal, so these are deep messages. So there's like multi-layered messages. Firstly, some of the messages are about Chiron, the wounded healer. It's something in your natal astrology chart. As children, we were broken somehow. And so that's how I'm starting off this reading. And I'm also grouping current transits that are happening in astrology that are affecting all of us for the next week. So in your immediate future, what or who is coming in for you has everything to do with, well, your relationships and what you're learning from or healing from, as far as relationships are concerned right now. So I'm going to put that there. Group 4. Ooh, you have the wheel. Let me bring this down. The Emperor. The Hierophant. So these initial messages are telling me how you may have felt wounded as a child by your parental upbringing or your siblings. And with these first 3 cards, you probably were drawn to esoteric information as a child. You probably spoke freely. You probably asked a lot of questions because part of your soul's purpose is here to learn or expand your consciousness and to grow. But in the bigger picture, you're meant to be taking everything that you've learned in your life so far to, well, create your own philosophy or the way that you wish to live your life. And of course, as children, we're not necessarily allowed to live life in the way that we believe that we want to, because we have to, follow the parental guidance. So maybe many of you weren't supported emotionally by your parents or your family when you were growing up. There's like a heart disconnection here. So maybe you felt disconnected from your parents somehow. You probably loved your parents, but there just wasn't, maybe it's your parents who were detached emotionally. And so you weren't able to connect with them on an emotional level that maybe you needed. It's also possible that you had a lot of questions. If you have a lot of curiosity that you were asking your parents, you were probably denied that entry. So some of you may have been told just not to ask questions because obviously your parents didn't have the answers. They didn't know, but they didn't want to feel like you were more intelligent than they were. Does that make sense? They didn't want you to feel empowered by having more knowledge and information than your parents did. So your parents may have just kept you undermined somehow. Okay, because they weren't able to see or feel or hear. So they probably had traumas from their childhoods as well that they were unable to heal. Okay. So there's like deserving. So there's something in this Chiron placement in your astrology charts. And of course, to get more specific information, we would need to look at your actual astrology natal chart. But Chiron, the wounded healer, it's like you experienced a broken heart or like a disconnect. Your heart, your emotions, emotional support from other people. And you may have had interactions with your parental figures, right? The ones who wanted to tell you to obey, this is what you must do, this is what you need to believe. It kind of made you feel like undeserving, or like the energy, the information that you were able to tap into, it's like those who were in authority just made you shut off. They made you close off your crown chakra, your access to this higher level of wisdom. So it's very possible that many of you were born with connections to intelligence of higher consciousnesses, which are beyond the earthly realm. But if society didn't allow that, if church didn't allow that, or religion, or your parental figures, they just didn't allow that. Maybe they didn't believe in that. Maybe they were afraid of that, and they just told you to stop asking, stop talking. And so I would think not looking for answers to your own questions would make you feel like you're stuck in a reality or a life that you're just no longer enjoying anymore. Sooner or later, it's going to come to a point where you're really longing for the truth, and your heart's going to open up in a certain divine timing that is going to, you're really not going to care what other people are thinking anymore. You're just going to start following your own internal truth. So in your immediate future, what or who may be coming into your life to help you with these things. And the reason I'm making this immediate future is that over the next 7 days, Mercury is coming close to making, was this the card I wanted? Maybe. There was another card and it fell back into the deck. Over the next 7 days, Mercury, which rules your mind and the way that you think, is making a conjunction with Chiron, the wounded healer. So many of you might start remembering childhood wounds, things that made you feel defeated or heartbroken, or when you were told no or to stop. These are all coming back into your memories. But the reason why is now there's so many planets in Aries at the moment that are trying to help you to see the light so that you can free yourself and liberate yourself from these childhood woundings. Okay, Jupiter, the 4, okay, so 4, let me lay out these cards. I feel if you chose group 4, you're already in the process of breaking free. Many of you are going through like a deep personal transformation. And even one day at a time right now, you might be waking up every day and realizing something new has come back into your memory, remembering yourself, your truth, remembering your purpose. Okay, because it's the energy and the information that is trying to set you free. This knowledge, this higher intelligence, it could be coming, it might start with your higher self, with the Hierophant. It's trying to help you to remember all of the things that you were curious about as a child. And these might all be flooding back to you. So right now, many of you might be so curious about everything and you're wanting to get more information. But also what's important is that you're meant to be making choices and taking action, choosing to use this new information and knowledge in your life to make the necessary changes and adjustments in your relationships, your relationship patterns. So relationship patterns in the bigger picture, globally, are in the process of healing. But first, the light and the truth needs to be shown upon us so that we know what it is that we need to do to either like remove ourselves from unhealthy relationship patterns, or to heal them, or to help us come into better alignment with our life path, our purpose, etc. And honestly, group 4, I feel like, so with these cards and over the next 7 days, these are like big truths or sudden memories coming back into your consciousness over the next 7 days. And so some of these might be extremely shocking to you. Many of you might be suddenly realizing the truth of your reality, like your home, your family, your past lives, who you really are. And this might even be helping to shine a light on your community, your the place where you work, your groups, your associations with other people, your career, that sort of thing. It's waking you up. So I think many of you who chose pile 4, your third eye might be activating right now as well. And third eye usually starts with what you perceive. It's something that you're going to sense or feel first. So there's nothing to be scared about as far as third eye is concerned, because if you're not having virtual visions of things, then that's not necessarily the kind of sensory perception that is activating for you. So it might be more subtle, like the undercurrents, what you're feeling, what you're sensing, what you're picking up on is trying to shine a light to help you to heal, to help you to realize the truth about yourself and your life and, well, everything that you know that you deserve. So, and you might even start asking your own self questions, why am I staying in this relationship where other people don't value me? I don't deserve this kind of relationship. I don't deserve this kind of treatment at work. I don't deserve the way that these people are treating me. These are just some of the things that you might be thinking about as well. All here to help you make like serious decisions, judgments, to find closure or to end certain relationships, jobs, right? Group associations. These are like deep truths are, I think, coming into your conscious awareness over the next 7 days, reminding you of maybe things that happened to you in your childhood that really are just ready to be liberated and healed and released. It's time for everyone to transmute and to re-empower all of ourselves. All of us. We all have the ability to do this. And of course, there are also going to be those who choose to stay in whatever it is that they are currently experiencing because, well, maybe they just feel more comfortable that way. But I feel like you're really wanting to liberate yourself from something, or from people that don't support you or don't allow you to be free in your career or your work or your opinions. So I think the more that you can spend time in quiet time or in nature, the more healing and the more realizations you will have, these truths, again, from your past, your parents, your childhood upbringing, these hurts, so that you can heal yourself and re-inspire yourself to prepare for, well, whatever else is happening in your immediate future, like after this. But right now, this is a transit, again, affecting all of us. And so for those who are overthinkers and overanalyzing, your mind might suddenly start remembering the past and the things that made you feel defeated. Or maybe you might return to studying certain things that you weren't allowed to study when you were a child. There are so many options here, but things that might seem painful to you to remember are really just waiting to be loved, so that they can heal and they can transmute and go back to the universal oneness, to blend with everything else and be free, which will also liberate and free you as well. So group 4, these are the messages. I warned you these were deep messages and awareness. It really just depends on what it is that you're ready to focus on now. If you're feeling a pain or a memory, and maybe you're wondering, why does this memory keep coming back into my mind? It's because Mercury and Chiron are making this conjunction. So that's one of the reasons, but it's also something that really needs clarity on. Or it could be something for you to make decisions on based on your path. Maybe that's why these are resurfacing. Maybe you have empowered yourself, and now it's time to liberate yourself and to free yourself from non-supportive everything, so that you can embrace and enjoy your future more fully or more freely or more authentically. The choice is yours. So group 4, I hope you enjoyed these messages. If these resonated, please do click the like button. You're always welcome to comment as well. Keep in mind, this is a general interpretation, interpreted by moi. And so this is just one perspective from my perspective. If any of you are interested in your astrological past or your galactic past, your galactic astrology, purpose, etc., your connections, I do now have access to that information. So if you're interested in knowing more about yours, or if you just like a more general reading, feel free to reach out to me. My links are down below the video. Meanwhile, have a wonderful day, and I do have some finishing, closing messages after your pile. So if you're interested in learning more about the current astrology transits, then hang out for a second, and I will be right back with those closing messages. Okay. Hello, 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 hello. So this is me sitting in my usual morning routine and asking the spirit guides, okay, what is the best way that I can start today with a general pick a card reading that can be helpful for everyone? And so I usually tend to follow the synchronicities. I get like a sudden burst of one thing and it leads me to, it kind of like leads me down the rabbit hole. And so what I discovered when I looked at general astrology transits affecting everyone, first, the thing that I saw was Mercury is coming closer to Chiron. And so Mercury now in Aries, notice it's at 17 degrees, which is a spiritual number, spiritual truth. inner knowing. The moon is also, well, this morning when I saw it, it was at 17 degrees Cancer. Cancer is like deep awareness, deep feels. What are you sensing? Cancers tend to be, do I want to say offended? They feel things more deeply. And so the moon is still in Cancer right now. But the time that I saw this, it was at 17 degrees. And usually, in my experience, whenever I notice something at 17 degrees or on a 17th day in my private life, there's always something spiritual, a spiritual truth that's trying to come into my awareness to help me to become aware of something. And so I'm thinking many of you probably are already fully aware of who Chiron is, the wounded healer. So with Mercury, over the next 7 days, it's coming closer to making a conjunct. It's sharing the same space with Chiron, meaning it's bringing all of us the opportunity to use our logic and our minds to free ourselves from these childhood traumas, or where we were wounded, or where we were blocked, or where we felt defeated, what we were unable to do when we were children. This is Chiron, the wounded healer. And so as we go through life and we learn and we grow and we evolve and we re-empower ourselves, we initially come to a place in our lives where we can use our experience to help other people to heal their own childhood wounds. It's the best way I can describe this. So there was that. This was the first thing. I was like, oh, dang. Because I couldn't go to sleep last night because I kept remembering things that I experienced when I was younger and with siblings. And I thought that I had healed it and released it. I guess not, because it keeps coming back. So I told my brain, we don't need to be think about these things. Stop thinking about this because it's not something. And then I realized, obviously there's still an energetic pattern there, and I need to figure out how to eliminate this for forever so that I can just move on with my life. So Vesta is a source of energy. It gives us the power to fan the flames of something. And so right now, Vesta's in Scorpio. And what's Scorpio? It's water. It's deep feels. Scorpio is like endings and beginnings. It's birth and rebirth, or however you resonate with Scorpio. And so Vesta at 12 degrees, it's bringing us numerology. It's bringing information into our mind, the number one. It's remembering details about something that we experience from others, the number two. So that we can create or find new ways to release ourselves, or I have found the best way to rise above childhood pains or experiences, well, even pains or experiences from my adulthood, is to find a way to rise above and to see it from a higher perspective, detach myself from it emotionally, so that I can gain a deeper understanding. So again, Scorpio is deep, Cancer is deep, remembering the past is deep. The moon in Cancer is helping us to, remember or intuitively pick up on, these could still be emotions and energies that are blocked in our physical body. So I'm glad I just remembered that, because I do know how to release energies from physical bodies. So I'll be doing that after I'm done with this. Also, I noticed that Hygeia, which is healing, it's your capacity to heal. 23 degrees, it's like this is a spiritual. Taurus is earth, which is practical things. So our practical resources are our physical body. Uranus right now is at 26 degrees, and it's also in Taurus, but it brings new sudden information, realizations, opportunities, or awareness of what we need to heal. This is how this conjunction can be showing up for all of us. It'll bring sudden inspiration or an idea into our mind. Oh, you know what? I can heal this. Oh, this is something that is still stuck. This is still something that maybe we have to deal with in our practical lives, right? This is Taurus energy. So our practical resources, the things that we need, becoming aware of the things that are affecting our daily routine, so that we can release those or rise above them or heal ourselves from them. And then, of course, I noticed that Jupiter and the vertex are both in Gemini. So Gemini energy is, well, Jupiter, wherever these are transiting in your personal astrology charts, Jupiter is just like soaking in all this new information. And the vertex is expanding that. It's opening up doorways and opportunities for this new information to come flooded in. Fortunately, this is all happening before those other transits that are going to be happening in June and July. I think there's going to be more air. So right now we have the ability to really rise above and heal, I guess in a weird sort of way, to lick our wounds, like our emotional wounds, the things that hurt our feelings in relationships, because everything right now is about Venus and our relationships with other people, with everybody. Not just romantic, not just coworkers, not just family or siblings, but our communities. This energy is helping to liberate us, liberate our souls, and allow our souls and our own sovereignty to be able to choose to do the right thing, to choose what we need to do as individuals to move forward in our own lives, but also being freed from being governed or ruled by those who wish to keep us under their rule. And that's the only thing I'm going to say about that. So there's plenty of opportunity, there's plenty of inspiration. Chiron really wants to heal. But when you can heal your childhood and even your adulthood wounds, you can use this to empower yourself and show up in the world to help other people empower themselves based on what you have learned. And so this is part of your collective potential, if this is something that you wish to share on your own, to make your contribution to life or to the internet right now. But I think it's also really important to point out that not everybody wants to know, not everybody wants to heal. Everyone has free choice. Not everyone is waking up. Not everybody cares. Some people just want to stay in their reality. They want to stay in their comfort zone. And the more that you can allow them to do what they have chosen to do, you still have the free will to choose to liberate yourself and to pursue your own path and your own journey, without the need to believe that you need to take everyone else with you. Because I think everyone right now who's feeling liberated and inspired to create the new earth, many of you are probably coming into the realizations that this is something that you're going to have to choose to do on your own. Especially when you are realizing that not everyone else even can understand who you are or what your purpose is, or why you're here or what is inspiring you. Not everyone is able to understand everybody else. I feel like we're at a powerful choice point here. We can choose to keep ourselves stuck in the past, in the yuck, with everyone else who wants to stay there in that 3D old earth. Or you have the option to empower yourself and to realize, no, I resonate with New Earth. I want to create new. I want to be better. I want to be more free. I want to liberate myself from the govern, the rule, the dictation. For those of you who are seeking that freedom, then everything right now is trying to help to liberate you, to inspire yourself, to believe in yourself, to free yourself, and to move forward with your own intentions. Again, without expecting anyone else to understand or anyone else to give you permission or expecting anyone else to even agree with you. And I feel like these are all probably coming back to your Chiron natal placements, along with your North Node, your midheavens. So that being said, to close out this video for today, if you are interested in your astrological, your purpose, your midheaven, your destiny, if you're feeling something but you're unable to articulate, or you don't have the information or the wisdom or the knowledge that is necessary to put into place to confirm for you, to give you that permission slip, what you're feeling that you need to do, but you're missing that information, then if you would like a private reading or a connection with me, feel free to reach out to me, because I have access to that library of information for those who are ready to discover that, right? For those who are ready for more. Anyway, so May 2, so through like May 9th, as Mercury gets closer to Chiron, these might be things, memories that, or your mind might start repeating something that was painful for you in the past. Obviously, if it's still there for a reason. So there's still something that you need to get from that situation that will help you with your sense of empowerment, whatever that is. So I hope you enjoyed your messages and your piles too, everyone. Thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. And, well, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to comment below the video. Meanwhile, I'll probably be back after a while with another pick a card reading. Not so deep. But I hope you enjoyed this. And I wish you all a wonderful day. Bye for now.